So I just finished watching Miss Marvel on Disney Plus, and here are some thoughts on it. Obviously, they're going to be spoilers because I just watched the entire show. Iman Vellani is fantastic as Miss Marvel. I think she is the embodiment of that character, and her acting in it is very, very good for someone who just started out acting in this show. She's very likable and she's very charming, and most of all, she has great comedic timing. I personally think that out of all the Disney Plus Marvel shows, that this one has the best pacing and actually feels like it's fulfilled at the end. It doesn't feel like it's rushing to any conclusion. However, one of my problems is that this show does fall into many of the pitfalls of the formula that Marvel has been doing across all of their shows and their movies recently. So that is one issue, but I find so much of the show so endearing, so sweet, so charming, and just not cynical in any way. It just full-heartedly embraces its theme, which is mostly family and community. One of the great things that I loved about the Spider-Man movies that I feel that modern superhero movies are missing is the sense of community around the superhero. Whether they're for the hero or against them, you have a sense of pressure from each side, and the superhero is smack dab in the middle, and you really do feel that in Ms. Marvel. I could talk about the Muslim community being represented in the show, as well as New Jersey being represented, and kudos to both. I had a wonderful time watching both communities through the lens of Marvel, and it was just a sight to see. Also, kudos to the creative direction of Bisha Ali on the show. I think it's just wonderful, very imaginative. The way that they use emojis, the way that they show text and express emotions throughout the show is wonderful to see. It's a lot of animation mixed with live action, and I don't know, I'm just a sucker for stuff like that. Also, the supporting characters, especially the parents in this show and the extended family, is just wonderful. Anytime that Kamala interacts with her father or with her mother, there are times where I got a little bit teary-eyed. All right, I did, and I don't feel bad about it. Okay, it's sweet. It's nice to see a supportive family in any kind of superhero context. If you're a fan of Spider-Man Homecoming or any of the John Watts Spider-Man films, I think you would love this show if you gave it a chance. I imagine a lot of people were being very dismissive of the show and not giving it a chance because they couldn't relate to it, but if you watch the show, you're basically just relating to yourself as a teenager. If you don't open yourself up to new experiences, how will you know you can't relate to it? So that's kind of what this show does. In a lot of ways, this show kind of reminded me of a mix of Spider-Man Homecoming and Rami, which are both very great things. However, like I said, the show is not perfect. It does have some action sequences that aren't that incredible. It also has some villains that are very unmemorable. And sure, we could talk about effects or whatever, but it's a TV show. However, I'll say the effects work for me. Her abilities, although different from the comics, work for me as well. On that end, I don't really have a lot to complain about. To me, I think this is a very sweet, very endearing, very heartwarming show that I think you should give a chance to, and I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Also, did anyone else think that Kingo was going to pick up Cameron?